Hey everybody, welcome back to another X-Plane 11 stream. We're on the ground here at Dublin Airport. We're going to be taking an IFR flight down to Beauvais in Paris. Flight time about an hour and 30 minutes. As you can see from the weather, it's not ideal, but hey ho, we'll give it a bash. So our conditions here, we have wind 340 degrees at 9 knots. Temperature is 4 degrees Celsius, dew point 3 degrees Celsius. QNH is reading 2936. Sky conditions, few clouds at 700, scattered 1300, broken at 2200. Our weather is brought to us by FS Global Real Weather, and the engine, I suppose, that's running it all is Ultra Weather XP. And it does look nice. So, we'll do more with the weather and stuff shortly. Our aircraft today is the Boeing 737-800, brought to us by Laminar Research, and we're using the Zibo mod. And there's a lot of hype with the Zibo mod. So they've basically taken a default plane, an X-plane, brought it back to almost zero, and rebuilt it, adding a whole load of excellent features and gizmos and gadgets. So it looks the job. We'll hide our music here. I'm still messing around with the audio, so let me know in the chat how we're getting on. A few disclaimers to get out the way. I'm hopelessly brutal beyond any sort of use at all flying these. But they are fun, they're a headache, they have a bit of a learning curve, but they're still a bit of crack to fly, they're enjoyable. And the great thing is it's free, so you can't do a whole lot of complaining. I have a number of add-ons running, ground handling deluxe, we have better pushback, we have world traffic 3, giving us all our aircraft moving around. So our frames are going to suffer a little bit, but I reckon they'll hold at kind of 25 to 35, and then once we kind of leave Ireland, they should start coming up a little bit higher to what we need. So with that said, the aircraft is in a cold and dark state. We'll jump in, get everything powered up, load our flight plan, which I made using SimBrief, get that into the FMC, get our weights and balances and all this kind of good stuff set, and then hopefully bolt out of here without a hitch. So let's get to it. So, in our flight deck, we're using the Librain plugin on our windshield here, and it looks great, doesn't it? You feel like wiping your monitor. It's like, oh, I spilled something. Anyway, it looks really cool. So first things first, I want to get some power into this machine here. There's some power coming on there now. We'll go ahead and get our logos. We have ground power. We'll double check our EFB here. This guy is real handy. So GPU is connected, so we can now turn on our ground power with this switch here. Power comes alive, get some lights going on here. Turn on one of our fuel pumps. Hydraulic pumps can come on. I have watched in other videos, Flight Deck to Sim primarily. That's where I try to learn as much as I possibly can. He informed me the pilot not flying at this stage will be outside inspecting the undercarriage, making sure that there's no leaks and everything visually looks the job. So our packs are running there, okay for the moment. We're kind of okay here for a few minutes. So we want to get our weights and balances set up. Lights are okay. Good. As I said, guys, I could be hopelessly, terribly bad at this, but sure, we'll give it a bash and see what happens. So we're going to load our weight in with our fuel and payload and cargo. So according to my flight plan, we should have a zero fuel weight of 136. We're a little bit under that, so we can overcompensate maybe with more payload. So if we go to 39.9, or maybe a drop of more fuel. We'll go 17.9. It's only kind of get us there roughly, so that'll kind of do. So we can start our ground service. Interesting. So that's kind of starting. We'll go through this guy now in a second. That's so cool, isn't it? Okay, so the IRSs want to get these guys on. APU, we can start to power up here now in a sec. Get our low pressure light on here. Press and hold the APU. 1, 2, 3. It's starting to come alive here now. We can jump back into that shortly. Our IRSs, get these guys turned on. Switch them on to nav mode. We can go into some of our settings here. Realism, align time, short, that'll do. We'll do our welcome aboard.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. On behalf of all the crew, welcome on board this flight. We expect to be departing on schedule.
That's pretty cool, huh? Alrighty, so down to our FMC. Everything here looks okay. Reference airport is Dublin, EIDW. Our gate is 110. We got to set our IRS position, so we'll go from our GPS. Our route is going to be Dublin, LFOB. Our company route here is going to be LIDW to LFOB. LFOB, I think it's 01. Let's see if this works. EIDW. L. Is it LFOB? We've already made a mistake. LFOB, yeah. LFOB 01. There it is. Flight number. We can find this from our flight plan. We are Ryanair 636 November. Flight number is FR 0026. And I can go in there. Activate that. Our departure runway is going to be runway 34. We can go through all this now in a second. Put in some of our bits and bobs. So our planned fuel is going to be 17.9. Reserves are going to be 2. Cost index, only because I'm guessing, is going to be 8. Our cruising altitude for today, according to the flight plan, is flight level 330. So the weather up there at 330 is going to be 003 43 knots. 003 at 43 knots. Temperature up there is a mild -45. Our transition, according to our chart, is 6. Execute that. And 1. Select outside temperature. No D-rate needed. Maybe there is, but I'm not going to do it. Flaps for takeoff will be 5. We'll have trim of 4.95. Let's call it there. V speeds 138, 140 and 150. 140 can go into this guy here. We'll just roll this guy forward. While we're here, anti-skid onto RTO. Transitional altitude, set that to 6,000. Heading was set to the runway, which is 340. And of course, don't worry about that just now. I'm sure there's loads of steps I'm missing, but yeah, we'll sort it out. Don't worry. So we've got to do a 29.36 on our barrel, or in hectopascals, it's going to be 994. 994. We're going to shoot over here to do the same. You're going to be 994. Okay. Good for the moment. So back down to our FMC. Want to go through our departure and arrival. Our departure out of Dublin. We are... It's here somewhere. Okay, the Pesset 5G. Pesset 5G, runway 34. Selected. We want to go back to our arrivals. Is going to be runway 30 with the Velal 9B. So the Velal 9B, we want runway 30. Is it BVS1 or BVS2? Let's just put that in and go through our legs page here. Look for any discos. We look good so far. If you go onto our route mode here on our map, look at our plan. And we can quickly go through this just to make sure everything looks okay. Everything looks okay. So I'll put this back onto map. Turn on our weather here. Squad code, we'll make one up. Air traffic control just gave us one there. 5150. That can come to on. We can go to our flight leg. Speed, heading. This all looks okay-ish at the moment. And some pumps there on. APU is now up and running. We can go ahead and turn on the APU bleed. We broke it. There we go. They're the ones I wanted. Okay, so we're running off the APU power now. By that we can disconnect the ground power. We can remove the GPU. And we want to go to here.
Alright, Captain, got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready.
I know that voice. That guy sounds cool. Okay, so runway 34. All these guys are good for the moment.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
So we've asked Catstrader to come up here and tow us back. Very nice of him. We can set out our flaps and stuff here now as well. We want to disappear all these guys. Have a quick check outside. So far so good. Quick check on the overheads. Lights on. Now, packs are going to come off when we're going for our engines. So we're going for 30. Flight level 330. Landing altitude is 150.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Wing lights can come on. Runway turn offs, leave all them off. Yaw dampener on. So we'll have a quick look around. we'll be taxiing out along here. This is our departure runway.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Toes connected, bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Okay, parking brake off.
Here comes the pushback. Line them up.
We can start our engines. So our packs are off. We'll go to ground here on engine 2. Starter valve is open. We can see this rising.
Demonstration. There are 8 emergency exits, each marked with a red exit sign. 4 pass markings along the cabin aisle will illuminate in darkness and guide you to the nearest exit in an emergency. There are 4 main doors, 2 at the front of the cabin.
Okay, checking here for 25 will do. Add our fuel. Beautiful sounds with the engine spooling up. All good. We have a good start on engine 2. Flick it now to engine 1. That's spooling up here nicely.
In the event of a sudden loss of cabin pressure, individual oxygen masks will drop automatically from the panel above your head. If this
That's so cool. Okay. So 24 to 25, that's fine. I think over 23 I think is the optimum. So there's our starter flicking back on. So we should be okay. Both engines are now running. Packs back on. Go ahead, turn our gens on. APU we can kill. APU bleeds we can kill. Probes on. Window heat on. Just get everything working here on my little SciTech panels as well. This all looks good to me.
displayed within the area you are seated, your captain invites you to read this card carefully before departure. Please now ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. Tray table is in the upright and locked position, armrests down and window blinds open. We recommend for your comfort and safety that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight. There is a call bell, reading light and fresh air vent in the panel above your head. Portable electronic devices such as tablets and mobile phones in flight mode may be used throughout the flight. Please select flight mode now. Laptops must be stowed in cabin baggage under the seat in front of you or in the overhead locker for taxi, takeoff and landing. We would like to remind you that smoking is not permitted. Thank you for your attention. Please sit back.
This guy's eager. Thank you, World Traffic. I wonder what'll happen. He'll
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
He could lose his patience. Parking brake on as we're moving there.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
I lower the flaps here down to 5 degrees. Not too happy with this guy. Runway turn off lights can come on. Strobe steady, anti-collision lights on. We'll hit that just before we leave. Everything here looks good to me, I think. You're gonna move, dude. You can disconnect. He'll appear over here on one side. Everything looks good over here. I guess we can just kind of spin around them. While we're here, we can do our flight control test. So we're going to go ailerons left.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
Thank you very much, Kat. Ailerons right and left. Pitch up and down. And rudder left and right. So what's going to happen? We're going to play chicken with an Airbus. So taxi light can come on. Set our engines to continuous. Fans are on, bleeds are on. Yep. I dare say everything looks the way it should work. All should be revealed. So, 2 throttles working. Give ourselves a bit of gas here. And because this is our first flight in a big jet that I've put on stream or YouTube, we'll get out of your way. Absolutely no politics at all. So our passengers are probably saying, who's this guy? Bit of oomph. Kind of a friendly kind of a guy. What's he doing over here anyway? This is like Ryanair turf. Get out of here. The rain effects look good though. So we've weather on one side, we can probably turn terrain on the other. Okay, we'll get a bit of oomph moving here just to get us on our taxi. Let's get our wipers on here as well so we can see what we're doing. So far so good. Looks like a Ryanair departure. So far everything is behaving itself. Our frames are doing okay at around 30. Famous last words. I'm sure it'll all crash at some stage. We're going to be hanging left up here shortly. There is such a buzz. Like, it's mainly GA planes I fly messing around with. But to jump into one of these is kind of special. Like, they are so big, and like this is a 737. Like, I see the guys flying 777s and 747s and the A350, and holy cow! I might reset the camera to maybe there-ish. There's usually I usually get like a whole load of bells and alarms when I tend to go full throttle on this, so I wonder will that happen. It's taken a lot of power to move this. Our passengers sound somewhat happy at the moment. No doubt that will change. As we continue on our taxi here out of Dublin Airport. The weather is pretty much spot on. It is raining. And it is cold. So as I was saying, there are a load of disclaimers in this video. Like, I don't for a second think I'm following any sort of procedures or I'm doing things right or otherwise. As he's talking, Aer Lingus, you're just like bursting my balls here, guys. If you turn left, I'm going to be angry. Turn right. Be a good fellow. Really? Like, really? Hi. How you doing? I was just going over here. Yeah, don't mind me. So let's just forget about him. So yeah, like, I mean, I don't for a second try and think, or I don't want anybody thinking that I'm trying to be someone who knows what they're doing. I really don't. I've watched YouTube videos with other guys flying these things, and they can kind of make it look super easy, but it's not really super easy. Like, there's loads of procedures and stuff to follow. And this is the first time I've used Jet on any of my streams or YouTube vids, so we're just having a bit of a mess with it. So we'll see how we go. Our taxi speed is a little bit lively, but we got away from all the mess. So we'll be queuing up here to depart runway 34. So when we take off, we'll be doing a left turn and then left again. Does look pretty though. You want to be quick there, dude. He's going around. Yeah, like I mean, I'm sure there's better settings maybe for world traffic, or maybe if I just calm everything down, don't have as many aircraft. I think of like 90% full of aircraft, which is like ridiculous. But sure, we'll see. Right, there is kind of a half a gap, so we're just going to break all the rules and try and get out of here fairly sharpish. Landing lights on. Oh, we need to turn this guy on over here. I should let our cabin crew.
Approaching runways.
So we want to spin onto 3-4. As I said, it'll be a left departure. That weather sock doesn't look too convincing. The wind is going on to our side.
On runway 3-4.
Okay, lights are set, flaps are set. Bring our power up to 40%. Engine stabilized and go for toga. A lot of rudder coming down the taxiway here. Airspeed's alive, 80 knots confirmed. Rotate.
Positive rate.
Positive rate gear coming up. Flaps to 2. A little bit bumpy.
1,000.
1,000. Start our turn to our left. Flaps to 1. Watch our speed. It's windy and bumpy as hell. Flaps in. Continue our turn. Get this guy back up here shortly. We're going to look for 230 knots.
2,500.
Auto throttle on. Keep our speed. we're going to go command mode, VNav, auto throttle off. Let's see here now. There seems to be an issue there. Oh wait, it should be LNAV. Let's go LNAV. So FMC disagree. Command off. Speed is okay. We're not on an intercept heading. We will be shortly. So watch our speed. Of a flight, can we go to direct to mode? Let me think how to remember how to do this. Let's just go straight to there. Clear him. Execute that. Let's go LNAV. Auto throttle on. Go by speed. Vertical speed looking good. Climb up to 14,000. Through the wet stuff. Taxi light off. RTO off. Park the landing gear switch. Climb is good. Direct to BAL. Speed is coming up. Engine seems okay. I'm not sweating in the slightest. Everything's under control. It looks pretty out there though, doesn't it? That's what we called organised chaos. I'm trying to use wipers off because the wet stuff has stopped. These are all okay. It should be behaving itself, I hope. Let's look outside. Surely you can't be serious. I'm always serious, and don't call me Shirley. I only watched that the other day. Great movie. Okay. A little bit strong in our climb. 2000 is going to be good. Landing lights can come off. We're above 10,000. And so far so good. Everything doing what it should be. I'm sure there's something terribly wrong right now, but we're not really going to worry about it. Well, I am, but you guys, it's cool. I'll keep an eye on things for you. $275 at 21,000. We're pretty much cleared up to 33 now with this rate of climb in 18 nautical miles. Okay, we can kind of see what we're doing again. Yeah, like the Zibo mod is fantastic. Like, this is awesome. Like, I remember when PDMG first released the 737. Like, and I was all over that because that was just like, what, really? You can fly this? But what the guys have done with this, it's awesome. And there's so many different, like, I haven't a clue, but I'm sure there are so many systems. It is looking nice. But as I said, there's a lot of stuff I got to learn with the bigger jets. It's more the procedural stuff, and even for yourselves, if you're using X-Plane with the smaller GA planes, your Cessnas and your Pipers, and you know, you really want to look at getting into these, Flight Deck to Sim has some great videos, and they're very much tutorial videos. 757 Spy on Twitch, he's flying a 757 all the time, a lot of the time. Cat Raider, he loads of stuff. Q8 Pilot, Frugal, Thomas, they all do really good vids, and you'll just pick stuff up. Like, I remember watching Matt Davis stuff. I always had a flight sim, but when I started watching YouTube and seeing what Matt was able to do, and the add-ons and the advice and his settings, it transformed my sim completely. So the frames aren't too bad at the minute, considering where we are. Open our trusted little map here. We've still got a bit of weather to contend with. Tailwind here of about 24 knots. We'll take it. Total airspeed 365, indicated 275, ground speed 389. We're going okay, we're still climbing. We can go to standard barrow here now. Once you pass 18,000 feet. We can probably, let's see, get our mood lighting on here. There you go. So what do you guys think? Do you spend most of your time flying the GA stuff, or do you fly the bigger jets? Is it a bit of both? Like, certainly a lot of your skills are going to go from your GA planes, so if you're flying them more, everything you learn from them, they'll carry on. I think if you plunge straight into a flight sim just to start off with the heavies, with the bigger jets, you may or may not probably get all the enjoyment you can out of the sim. I know for me, when I first got a flight sim, you're like, oh yeah, I want a big jet and let's go. But it kind of defeats the purpose. Like, the bits and bobs that I know to get an aircraft in the sim somewhat airborne, it's enough for me at the moment. Yes, there's just a whole lot of more I want to be able to do with them. From the procedures, the checklists, failures, you know, working with ATC, all of that kind of stuff, and that's stuff I want to bring to the channel over the next couple of months. But I remember when I finished the Ireland series of the GA planes just tipping around different airports in Ireland, I wanted to do a flight from Dublin over to, be it Manchester or Scotland, and trying to record that thing and just not having the knowledge base and just not confident enough to do it, because if you can bluff your way, but like everyone is just going to say like, what are you at, like, you know. So now it's a little bit easier. Obviously I can stream it and my internet's better and the speed is good and it's all grand. I'll still make a complete hames of it, but that's part of the fun, is it not? But certainly any tips or advice or opinions you guys have, do drop them into the comments, because I'll read them. Even the last video I did of the Duchess and the Baron, a lot of comments came in, and you know, they're saying, you know, nice video and whatever, but you know, you've got to watch your mixture. You got to, you know, you got to lean it out at different altitudes, and there are tiny things I'll do, not off camera, but like you won't see if I'm adjusting the mixture, and if I'm not kind of looking at it, if I'm not looking at the mixture on the aircraft, you know, you'll just see EGT rise or drop depending on what I'm doing with it. But yeah, it's I think it's all about explaining what you're doing. The edutainment side of it, you can learn something and still have a good time. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I never turned that guy on either. See, there's another thing. But we're okay. .77. That's where we want to be. So we're staying at this flight level for approximately 30 to 40 minutes. Then we can start our descent. Now, while we're here, so far so good. We'll be tuning in these ILSs in a little bit. We're going to pick flap 40 for our landing. ILS runway 30. Course will be set, will be 303 degrees, but we'll go through all that a little bit closer in. So we'll bring up our map here again. This will be interesting to see what sort of frames we get, because granted we're quite high, but we have a lot of Orbex tiles loading here now. But it's actually doing quite good. So far so good, no stutters, no problems. It's the odd weather load, but I'm fairly happy with the performance so far. As we approach flight level 320, about 1,000 to go.
To go.
Okay, we're going to go into our cruise here now. We're going to level off. Have to say it's a pretty sight.
From the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruise altitude and the seatbelt sign is now off. Feel free to move around the cabin, but we do ask if you are in your seat that you do keep your seatbelt loosely fastened in case we do experience any unexpected turbulence. Otherwise, invite you to sit back, relax and enjoy the flight.
Bit of light turbulence here, we can give them a little warning. Okay, you can only kind of barely hear that, but it's okay. Time for tea. So yeah, so our current status, flight level 330. We are on our way from Dublin to Beauvais in Paris on a Ryanair flight. There's the weather reloading, as we say it. Bit of turbulence where we are, nothing too much to worry about. Doing a ground speed of 467, so we're tipping fairly nicely. We are in the Boeing 737-800, the default plane with X-Plane 11, and this version of it is called the Zibo mod, which basically takes the default aircraft and goes nuts with it. It adds in the EFB here, a whole load of systems, sharper textures, enhanced flight model, sounds, you name it, it's completely revamped. They've done it. And it's free. Which is just fantastic. So guys, tell me, what are your favorite planes? Like, Do you like any of the new releases? Has anyone else picked up the Just Flight Duchess or the Coronado Baron? I saw the other day that the Airbus A350 got an update. I haven't got that plane actually. It's one of only a few I don't actually have. I have the A330, all right, from Jar Designs. That's pretty fun, but I just don't have the time for the really long haul flights, and that's probably why I suffer. No, I don't suffer, but like, you know, I'm crap like at the bigger planes because I don't spend much time in them. Only because if I want to go for a quick flight, I'll do so. And with Orbex, with True Earth, Great Britain, I'm now flying over things just to see what they look like. I tend to be doing it in GA planes. The odd time I'll jump into a chopper. And because the load on my system with all that stuff running, you put a heavy into that, you put like one of the bigger jets, be it the Airbus or any of the Boeings into it, flight factor stuff, or even the Thales, it just drops me frames that little bit much. I get stuttering and it's kind of takes away from it a little bit. Now I can drop all my settings around and it'll be fine, but I just haven't really got around to it. So tonight I said, sure, we'll give it a bash and see what happens. And I would hope over time, like, I'm going to get more proficient in this. And even what I'm doing here now, like, I mean, if anyone's struggling what to do with this aircraft, my knowledge, albeit extremely limited, it should be enough to get you into the air at least. The main thing, or the first thing you want to be doing, is setting up all your views, so at least you'll know where to be looking. So that's my standard view. I have it saved to my numpad 0. The overhead, and you divide your overhead into flows. So as you kind of work around, center tanks, we've nothing in them. All the wing tanks, so they're your fuel pumps for that. All your electrical power, your gens and buses, all that here. EGT for your APU unit, all your lights, more lights, supply into the cabin, your emergency lights, seat belts, attendants, ground calls. These are just your windscreen wipers, your window heaters, your probes, anti-ice, engine anti-ice, your engine pumps and your hydraulic pumps, your cabin altitude and pressure. Over here then we have air temperature and how much you're putting into the flight deck and your cabin, your air conditioning, your packs, your bleeds, altitude again, setting up to do with your pressurization. Your landing altitude is very important. Further up here then we have your IRSs, that's to do with your alignment for your just basically the aircraft identifying exactly where it is. That's just a test that your flaps are working or not working. You have a little test button here on most of the stuff. Voice recorder over here, oxygen. Down here we have some lights just for your panels. You can make them brighter or darker depending on what you want to do. I thought there was a smaller one for that. Pedestal lighting, your FMS, which is your flight management system. So at the moment we have it on the legs page. There's a full tutorial somewhere online for that. It's worth reading up, and it's cool. You can actually get these onto your iPad. You can Google how to do that, but it's the Flight Factor stuff have their own app, I think, that comes with it. Really handy because yeah, the mouse can be a little bit annoying, but you have that in your iPad and a touch screen. It's pretty awesome. So what else do we have here? Your EFB, that comes with the Zibo mod. That's just fantastic. You can set up all your options, your different sounds, full checklist, procedures. Your checklist is up here. In there. Well, it used to be in there. It's still in there. You can move that around. That's pretty awesome. How do we get rid of it? Interesting. We gotta land with this on. You should be able to just click back here now. It's a very green bridge. Ah, click to stow. There you have it. Imagine landing with that thing. Anyway, I digress. Over this side, just a couple of lights. You have your oxygen. You can test that. I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can, but it's just giving a little hiss. Here's a cup of coffee. That looks awesome. Your main avionics and flight instruments. You have your auto brakes or anti-brakes? Auto brakes. So anti-skid and rejected takeoff. Then you can set your auto brakes to whatever setting depending on your speed, altitude, weight, all that kind of good stuff. Your panel up here is pretty much for your autopilot, for which you have course, speed, heading, altitude, vertical speed, different commands. There's different procedures then if you want to load a auto land Cat 3. Selecting different bits and bobs on your screens. I tend to leave them all where they are. Your map settings, what you want displayed on your maps. Engine throttles, flaps, speed brakes, fuel cutoff, park and brake, stab trim, main trim wheel. You have your firefighting equipment in here. You have your comms, nav, ADF. It's all to do with the weather radar, transponder, and it says Cat 3. Floodlights, trims, lock the door, unlock the door, and that's kind of it. But there is so much info online for further reading. Like it's a very interesting aircraft. It's a fascinating aircraft, just to read up on it. And obviously, the bigger or the more longer range aircraft, be it you go for the 737 MAX or the 757 or the 767, 777. If you're into your Boeing, you're into your Boeing. If you like your Airbus, you're into your Airbus. I like both. I really like the Zibo mod only because it has all these bells and whistles that I'm mad about, like the captain talking and, you know, the safety announcements at the start of the flight. That's really cool. And like passengers waffling in the back. It's pretty cool. So our frames are kind of struggling, somewhere between 25 and 30, but we are going over densely populated England, and it's all Orbex, and I have my settings quite high. I could have lowered them, I just didn't bother, but it's still fairly smooth. You know, it's not too bad. So we'll keep letting it do its thing. Imagine having that as your office, though. It's fantastic, isn't it? So far, so good. I wonder what you guys do on the longer haul flights. Like, say if you're flying to the States or Asia or whatever. Like, is there some? Do you some like I don't know? Like, some of you guys sit through the whole thing? Maybe stick on a movie or I don't know, fire up a PlayStation. Or do some of you go to bed? You know, set an alarm when you get to your top of descent, maybe, or are some of you just absolute bonkers hardcore? You'll sit there and go through whatever 5 to 10 hour flights. Let me know. It's interesting. I think the longest flight I ever did was Dublin to New York. And the flight time was about, I don't know what it was, maybe 6 hours. But then obviously the prep and getting everything ready and whatever. So I think it was like 7 hours non-stop. My wife didn't talk to me for a few days. I joke. But it's cool. And then if you do network stuff, you can chat to other people as you're kind of tipping along all the different centres. Okay, if you're doing a hop across the pond, maybe not too many, but certainly if you're flying somewhere in Europe or in the US and you're going through all the different areas, it's pretty cool. So in just under 70 nautical miles-ish, we're going to start our descent. So we're going to be going from 33 down to 28, 26. And then pretty much straight in.